A rising star in the Richmond Police Department made the difficult decision to leave, not because of the crime, but because of what she says is hurting morale at RPD.
In tonight's Special Crime Insider Problem Solvers investigation, Brenda Ruiz spoke to our John Burkett. He joins us live now with why she left and what the mayor is doing to keep more officers from leaving. John?
Well, Bill, you have pay, low morale, political posturing. Is it time to hit the panic button for policing in the city? Some officers say yes, as more and more experienced officers walk out of these doors for good. Minutes into her night shift.
And it's exciting. It's the most exciting job I've ever had in my life.
Officer Brenda Ruiz is ready and running calls. She patrols 1st Precinct, the East End, 4 of the city's housing projects which have been plagued by crime in 2021. But Ruiz does not mind a tough assignment. In fact, she found her calling watching police officers and firefighters run into the clutches of chaos on September 11th.
So I was born in Argentina, and I was raised in Miami. I came to the U.S. when I was 9 years old, and that was the year 2000. In 2001, 9/11 happened. And I saw everybody that was running into the building, the firefighters and the police officers, and I just said, that's what I want to do.
With that dream in mind, and a little under 3 years patrolling Richmond's most violent streets,
it's very upsetting to me that, she leaving.
Residents like Cora Lee,
because she's a good policeman,
react to rumors of Ruiz going to Henrico County.
What?
Leaving her city post to patrol the suburbs.
They need to keep her, pay her more money, keep her here in Richmond.
Ruiz, once Rookie of the Year at RPD, praised in a federal affidavit for sniffing out a drug dealer just by running a merchant check at a local store, and heralded on social media as one of the faces of a modern and diversifying Richmond Police Department, is heading to Henrico in search of better pay and higher morale.
My choice to leave, I love the department, and I love where I work, and I'm having a great time. But my thing is, I have to look at the future right now, and my future doesn't look very financially stable if I stay in the department.
Ruiz says it's bittersweet. Many of the men and women she patrols with at RPD have become family. A family, she says, in turmoil due to the riots in Richmond and ongoing political posturing.
At least 2 of the city council members made us look like we're the bad guys. And then support from the mayor. The mayor came out and said a couple things that the officers did not agree with and they weren't happy with. Then he had a meeting with us. He said something different. That meeting got put on the media, and we've been kind of going back and forth with with city council and the mayor. I think a lot of the times our command staff has their hands tied, and they can't really do much for us.
We caught up with Mayor LeVar Stoney on Saturday.
I know that policing has become more difficult since last year.
He says while he has called for more police accountability, the perception of him being anti-cop is wrong.
Police, and I've never supported defund the police. I never supported it because I know that there's been families who have come to me who said, Mr. Mayor, we need the police department.
Stoney says he's been working on a way to get RPD caught up with the other law enforcement agencies in Central Virginia when it comes to pay. But he says that's just one part of the problem.
It's not just salary and compensation. It's a number of other things that I'm working with the chief on, whether or not you can take your car home at night, whether the car is working as well, the fleet. These are the little things that, there's a quality of life in your home, but it's also a quality of life at your job as well. And we're focused on improving the quality of life of police officers within the city.
Y'all want some candy? From me.
Handing out candy. Going to new heights looking for a gun toss, never talking down to someone, and always trying to remember that anyone can have a bad day.
You have a gun in the backpack.
I don't. You can check my backpack in my car.
Okay.
Some of Brenda Ruiz's last calls as a city officer will be memorable. But duty, no matter where she serves, is in her DNA. Still, she worries about the city she's leaving behind.
They're not going to have somebody there when they need them because there's not going to be enough officers to respond because everybody's leaving, and it's horrible. It hurts the department, it hurts the people of the city, and they should do better.
And Bill and Candace, Crime Insider sources tell me 5 more officers have put in separation papers since November 1st. Working for you outside police headquarters in downtown Richmond tonight, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Thanks, John. 3 people arrested in the shooting deaths of 2 children in Richmond, and police say all 3 suspects are under the age of 19. Our Brendan King has the latest from police.
Bears and balloons sit at the OMG convenience store in the East End where 4 people were shot, including 14-year-old Raquan Logan and 9-year-old Abdul Bani Ahmad, 2 boys killed in the gunfire.
We are continuing to do everything that we can to bring successful closure to this case, and it remains our top priority at this time.
Richmond Police Chief Gerald Smith says officers worked sleepless nights since the Friday shooting, arresting and charging 2 17-year-old boys who were not named and 18-year-old Clintwan Baker. Court documents show Baker's last known address as outside Charlotte, North Carolina, but told detectives he was staying with his child's mother in the East End.
Hello. She says she loves her brother.
Raquan's family and Richmond's NAACP spoke at a Saturday press conference following the shooting.
Children who really didn't, who had getting a chance to become 18 yet. You know, this is ridiculous.
Detectives say the shots came from a car, hitting the boys outside of the convenience store owned by Abdul's father. With tears in her eyes, Abdul's mother told me her husband tried to stop the boy's bleeding before he was rushed to the hospital. She says these arrests won't bring her son back. A weapon is not supposed to be with children. That's very dangerous. Kids, 17 years old, if they have a weapon, that means something is wrong with the country, she said. In an email to Abdul's 4th grade class, Short Pump Elementary's principal asked parents to talk to their children about the shooting. The young man who died will be greatly missed at our school. He was a happy and thoughtful young man, and he brought a smile to the face of anyone who met him. Short Pump Elementary students and staff plan to celebrate the young life of that 9-year-old on Thursday by wearing his favorite color, blue. In the meantime, police have put up a $5,000 reward for any information that can help solve this case. Working for you in Short Pump, I'm Brendan King, CBS 6 News.
Court documents detailing Baker's arrest help establish a timeline of the fatal shooting. That's according to police. So our photographer set up a camera inside his car to take you through what police say happened, turn by turn. Paperwork shows that on Friday night at 7:30 p.m., a red Ford SUV was traveling east on 9 Mile Road. As the car then turned north onto Creighton Road, the occupants of the vehicle began shooting in the direction of the OMG convenience store on the right there. That's where Logan and Ahmad were both killed and 2 others seriously injured. The SUV then continued north on Creighton, where someone inside shot at a silver sedan that had pulled in front of them. After that shooting, the SUV then traveled west through the city, eventually stopping at the Red Fox Apartments complex in Mosby Court. Police say surveillance video there shows Baker and 3 others getting out of the car and entering an apartment building with firearms.
Tomorrow will be the 3rd day of the murder trial of a Henrico contractor accused of raping and murdering a VCU administrator inside her Richmond home in 2019. Among the witnesses called today was the medical examiner who detailed the injuries and DNA collected from Suzanne Fairman. She was found submerged in her bathtub, and prosecutors alleged Thomas Clark, who had done work at her house, held her at knife point, raped her, then strangled her. Prosecutors say they used precautions to avoid potential DNA contamination, which is something the defense mentioned in their opening statement to jurors. To help establish a timeline, experts also testified to cell phone and computer data that Clark's cell was picked up by a tower closest to Fairman's house on May 3rd and again the afternoon of the murder. The defense says this data was only an approximate location. The prosecution finished with experts reviewing their findings from the DNA test, and in several cases, including from swabs taken from Fairman, they could not rule Clark out. Court resumes tomorrow morning.
CBS 6 first told you 2 months ago about people using a drone to drop contraband, including marijuana, cell phones, and tobacco, inside a prison in Brunswick County. They missed their mark, and it all landed outside a nearby school. But a months-long investigation has resulted now in 2 arrests. Security cameras alerted deputies yesterday to 2 people near the Lawrenceville Correctional Center. The sheriff saying the men matched the description of the suspects from September. They arrested 31-year-old Kendall Shaw and 24-year-old Hakeem Berry. The sheriff says the pair were carrying 2 backpacks, inside a drone and 30 cell phones. Both have been charged with felony attempting to deliver contraband to inmates.
Well, we believe that the suspects and have evidence to prove that they would be dropped off in this area at least a couple of times and walk this fence line. If you follow it, we're not but a little over half a mile, and you walk right up to the fence line of the GO prison.
Sheriff Roberts there says they've